Hello and welcome back all of you my dear students to our another video. Now in our today's video we are going to start the next chapter, and the name of the chapter is Settled Life and Urban Civilization. Now in all the previous videos what we have learned is about how the evolution of man have happened and how the different settlements of man came by. So you might remember in the previous video I told you about the Homo habilis was living in the forest. He did not have any home. He also did not knew how to use any tool, and again the foods he was eating was not that much good for all this particular purpose. Then how did they found out the technique to make certain tools and use these tools for various purpose. So after that we have seen that different types of tools that this man have made in the sixth chapter, that is stone age and stone tools. Like these stones were most prominent type of material that were used for making different types of tools. Then we saw this man made some axe and spears and all these different things. Okay, knives. How did he use them to kill the animals, to gather the food, then again to separate the meat out of the skin of this particular flesh of the animals. And then we saw how due to this excessive hunting, the man made a mistake of the extinction of these animals due to over hunting of these particular animals. Then we saw that this man was living in caves back in that times, but after the extinction of the animals we got to go in the different region where there was abundance of water and the aquatic life was used for our food and all this purpose. By that time we did not knew about any kind of agricultural activities. We settled near the rivers and then we used that area. Then after some time we found out that we have to look at different sources of foods. Then we found out the method of how a plant is grown, and that's how the agriculture grew. Now when we are living near the rivers, we made some arrangement for our residence, that we made the huts and all these things for living. So that is how you see we have seen all these things in the previous stone age and stone tool chapter. Then we came to the next chapter, that is the seventh chapter, that is beginning of settled life. Then we saw how the agriculture impacted the mobility of the particular humans in those ages. It made him aware of the fact, and he gave the confidence was given to the man that now he can grow his own food. So he did not move he did not had to move from one place to another place in order to gather food and make sure that he had any kind of food stuff on his plate for the next meal. So that is how you see agriculture started. Now when the agriculture started, we saw that now this man got the confidence of growing the food on his own. So he thought that now I don't need to kill the animal for my food. Now I can use this animal for certain different regions or different reasons, sorry. So you see, we started domesticating the animals and doing a lot of stuff. Then we started to use them for our protection of the farms. Then working in the farms, like bulls we were using to work in the farm, so that the strength of these bulls will help the humans for some different works. Then again you see, we saw a lot of different things that were going on simultaneously. That means the agriculture was done, then animal husbandry was done, then the shelter building was done. Then in order to store the grains we were making certain pots, and in order to do all these different things we require a lot of different people to do this particular thing. So what was next? So that is what we will be learning in our today's video. Now you see, people of the stone age, that means the Neolithic era, that means the new stone age, they were doing all this agriculture and domestic work. Then we saw that how the trade was done. Now I told you of something called as barter system, right? I hope you remember. I told you about this, which is called as the barter system, in which we were exchanging one thing for another thing, right? A person was growing wheat, or let's say he was growing any kind of grain. Then this man used to exchange with this material. Like you see, when I was growing egg, like this person, not I. So when this person was growing grains in a huge amount, what happened? This grain was getting damaged. So this man said that I need something to store this grain. Then there was one potter over there who was making certain pots and all these things. So this man said that, hey potter, give me your pots for storing my grains. But this man said, I have the skill to make the pots and you have the skill to make the food or grains. So why don't we exchange it with each other? I will give you pots for your purpose of storage of grains, and you give me the grains, because I do not grow the grains, I don't have the skill for doing that, and you have the skills. So barter system was nothing but the exchange of material in return of a different material. So we were calling it as barter system. Now I told you that the money is used today for this reason. Like previously we were exchanging these materials, and now we are exchanging this money for the trade purpose. So now we will look at what are the next evolution in this phase. So here we are starting our 9th chapter, that is settled life and urban civilization. Now in this chapter we will be learning what was the reason of urban civilization, how did it happen, and we will see what are the different materials that were used in that ages, and what are the different evolutions that we have gone through in the pottery and all these different sections. So you might be imagining that what are the things that we used after stone. Like right now we are using a lot of different things. Like you see, mobile is made up of a particular thing, then another iron, then we are using different ornaments like gold, silver, diamond, platinum, uranium for energy and all these things. So what was the things that were used? Like how did we get away from the stone age? Okay, so in the stone age we were using stones for making the tools. But what after that? What did we get, or what did we use after this stone age for making different tools? So we made the use of copper for making different tools. Like you see, as the discovery of copper happened, we were using this particular metal for making these tools. But this copper was also having different kind of weaknesses in it. Okay, it was like pure copper was not very hard, so it was not very useful for making these tools. So what we did is that we added into it what is called as tin. So when this tin was added, it made bronze. So this bronze was made, and we were using this bronze for various purposes. Then after bronze came the iron. So nowadays we also use iron and different materials. Like a lot of discoveries has happened in these ages, and we use different types of materials. So the historians have divided this particular ages that we say into few different categories. What are they? We will look at it now. Now the age in which we were using stone tools, that age is called as the Stone Age. Then what came next? As I told you, copper tools. So the age that the copper tools we can see over here, that age came to be known as copper age, because in that particular span of life the people were using the copper as the main source of making tools. Then in the next phase we used iron tools. So that is what we will say the iron age. Okay, and in between this was the bronze age, where we used the copper and all these things to make the bronze, and we were using this particular thing for making this particular material, and that was known as bronze age. But you see, these three different ages are generally called as the three age system. Okay, so we will add bronze later on in this list, but for right now you have to know that historians has divided these ages into these three different types. Now the historian, like a scholar named Christian Thompson, he saw that in different ages we have used different materials. So why not give these different names to all these ages, so that we could classify in what age people were using what materials and what was the type of lifestyle these people were living in that particular age. So that is why you see this scholar named Christian Thompson gave this particular three age system the name to it. Okay, and these different names. Now as we were discussing about Stone Age, we saw how did we use the stone, how did we got to learn the different arts of making the stone tools, and we also saw that how are the different materials that we used and with different tools that we made out of the stones. Okay, so we have seen in that percussion method of making this sharp edge of the stones. Now one more thing I would like to tell you is that copper was not the first metal that we used after the stone. We used, like you might have wondered about which was the first metal that the humans have used. So copper was not the first, it was gold. Okay, so gold was the first metal that humans have used for this after the Stone Age. Now why there is no gold age over here? Like it should have been written like gold age in this place, but why did we skip the gold and written the copper age over here? Is that because this gold, the metal of gold is very soft, and this softness of this gold was the hindrance to making this gold tools. Like you see, gold is very soft and it could break very easily. So what we can say, we are not able to use gold as a tool for doing some hard tasks. So that is why you see we started to use copper after we got to learn about this, like after we got to know how to use this copper and how to make the tools out of it. So that is why you see gold was not called as an age over here, because there was no particular revolution that gold has brought to our society. So we will look at all these things in our next video, and we will also learn about these pots. Okay, how the pots were made, and again how these pots were the foundation from which we got the knowledge to make wheels. Yes, so we got the knowledge of making wheels by making pots. So how did it happen? That is what we will be learning in our next video, and also we will learn about how did we started to write different things. Okay, why and how did we develop certain scripts? Okay, like you might have seen a lot of ancient script like Greek, again Sanskrit, and all these different letters. Like you see, this English is also a type of script. So how did we all started to write this script, and what was the evolution in those ages, and due to the urban civilization, what were the developments in the human lifestyle? That is what we will be learning in our next video. So until then, bye.